Hi, I'm Dave once again with Operation Eagle's Wings, honoring all who serve and leaving no one behind. And in this day of budget cuts and a lot of veterans coming home from overseas that are needing help, it's very encouraging to us for us to see groups like the group we're going to be talking about today, Vets Helping Vets, that are helping one another overcome their challenges with the Veteran Service Administration and many of the challenges that vets are having today. With me today is Victor Kuhns. And Victor, understand this is kind of a loose-knit organization, and it's actually veterans just coming together and helping other veterans, isn't it?
That's exactly what it is. We started this in 1998, and we've been out there, one vet helping another vet, whether it be for their benefits or counseling or just somebody to talk to that can understand what they've been through and where they've been. We have a belief that when we took an oath in the Army, in the Marine Corps, and in the Navy, Coast Guard, Air Force, that we took an oath that says we'll never leave a brother behind. We carry that on today through Vets Helping Vets. No brother will ever be left behind. All it takes is a phone call, and they can call Vets Helping Vets, and we will get them there with a vet that will become family.
Now, there's lots of needs out there today. If we had to talk about the top three, what are the top three needs out there for veterans?
The top three needs out there for veterans is getting veterans the knowledge and the information about their veterans benefits that they have coming to them, and helping them get through the red tape to make sure that they get those benefits. The third is we have veterans falling through the cracks in the judicial system, and these veterans need a special hand up. And we're looking at communities and counties within the state to get involved with the VA through the Veterans Justice Program and start veterans courts in their counties and communities.
Talking about slipping through the cracks and trying to deal with all the red tape in the Veteran Service Administration and getting their benefits once they get out. We were just before we went on started taping this show. You had your phone rang a couple times with veterans calling you asking for help and negotiating the system.
Well, these veterans that called today, just as an example, are already working with me in the program. I work as an advocate. I'm there to listen to both sides, listen to the veteran, listen to the VA side, help the veterans get their evidence, help them wade through the paperwork. For example, one veteran that called me this afternoon had just finished up another session of his counseling for his PTSD. His counselor told him to get a hold of me to start the next process in his program to get his benefits for PTSD.
We hear a lot about PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. Big issue right now, isn't it?
It's a very big issue. When you take a person out of their element in the programs that they've lived all their life, natural home, home environment, wife, children, and you train them and send them into war, no matter how insignificant the general population thinks it is, these people see things and have to do things that no one should have to do. And these veterans come home and they carry that as extra baggage. And they live it. They dream it. They're up and down all night. They don't sleep. These veterans need to understand what's going on because even they don't understand. So through the counseling and the programs we have with Vets Helping Vets, we help them walk through those programs. We help them with their counseling with families. We try to get them the programs that are most beneficial to them through this, because the PTSD has led to a point that the suicide rates in the United States for veterans is astronomical. Marriage rates amongst veterans and divorces is astronomical. So if we can catch the veteran early, we can help them get through these programs.
Some of the statistics that are shocking are there were some months in combat overseas when we were losing more soldiers to suicide than combat.
And this is true. And because, again, we go back to what I said just a few minutes ago, is that veterans see things they should never see. They have to carry that around in their minds daily and by themselves. We encourage veterans to come together as groups, just like Vets Helping Vets, to help veterans work through these programs. We are still dealing with veterans with PTSD from the Korean War, Vietnam War. I have one from World War II that's still dealing with what he's seen. Our kids coming home from Afghanistan, Iraq, they're seeing the same things. But we need to remember that it's not just our wartime veterans. We had conflicts in Bosnia many years ago that our veterans seen. I just finished working with a veteran that served in the National Guard and was called up for the LA riots many years ago. And he was shot in LA while he was down there helping with the LA riots. And he's had to live with that ever since he went down there. And so it doesn't matter where you've served or what you've done. If you have been in training, and we have a lot of women veterans that are very important to the military today, and their skills and their training, and they go in and it can be a matter of a lot of things. The combat they've seen, one of the issues that we've been dealing with and we've been trying to work hard with is our women veterans coming home with sexual trauma problems, and the counseling and what we're putting them through. So PTSD doesn't necessarily have to be wartime situations. It can be the sexual trauma that they may have seen in their time in the service.
Or experiences.
We also, and people find this very hard to believe, we also have young men that are going through sexual trauma problems that have happened in the service. And we are putting, our militaries and our governments are putting together programs that are actually creating these problems to extend out even further. And that is through the gay rights movement. And yes, I can understand that, yeah, we're trying to be politically correct. It's very hard to do when we look at a lot of issues. When we go into war, we have to focus on war. We have to focus on what we're there for. And one of the things that people need to remember in this country when we're sending our young men and women around the world is, are we doing what we need to be doing for this country? And that is, our servicemen that joined the military joined for one reason, and that was to protect the Constitution of the United States and the red, white, and blue that flies over this country. They never joined to protect the President of the United States. They didn't join to protect a congressman or a senator. They joined for two reasons, and that's to protect the freedoms of this country. And that's in the Constitution that we have, and that's what they're protecting today.
You know, one of the programs, before we went on camera, we were talking about that some counties in Oregon are initiating. Deschutes County in Central Oregon is one. There's some other counties as well, and that's called a Veterans Court. As we talk to the folks in the criminal justice system in Deschutes County, they've also done something called Family Court. And what they do is they work with families to try to get them out of the criminal prosecution system by helping them deal with issues. Likewise, a veterans court system can help military veterans deal with the issues that are specific to them. You know, there's a traffic stop, a military veteran has PTSD, something happens, law enforcement, you know, just reacts normally as they would, and it causes a problem, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And this is why we're so encouraged with the economy the way it's going. Counties are cut back. Myself, I have already made a call into the county sheriff here in Lynn County, trying to get a chance to have a voice with him and sit down and talk to him, because I just did a program on my radio show, which is called Vet Talk on KGAL radio station. And I wanted to have a sit down with him about the Veterans Justice Outreach Program, which is working already up north in Clackamas County. They're put it in Deschutes County. It's really working great to help our veterans and to also aid in the programs in the counties. The program works with justices involved with veterans. Justices involved with veterans is a veteran who is in contact with the judicial system, law enforcement, or the jail system. We have immediately, when these people go into the courts, they can get a hold of Linda Maddie at the VA hospital through the Veterans Justice Outreach Program. Her number is 503-220-8262 and extension 32716. Talk to her directly. She's the director of this program. She is on top of it, and they're ready to come down here or any county out there throughout the state and sit down with them and help them develop their justice veterans court.
And we see the Veterans Court as one thing that's really needed here in Lynn County and other counties in the state of Oregon, because the veterans have a unique psychological issue that they're trying to deal with. They're trying to deal with issues like PTSD. They're trained to respond in situations that a typical civilian wouldn't respond that way, and it causes problems when they come home and try to reintegrate into civilian life. And we, in our criminal justice system, need to understand that and need to do some counseling and need to work with veterans instead of just prosecuting them and throwing them in jail.
And not only that, I want to reiterate that these servicemen have given a lot up for this country. Mm-hmm. And we need to not only be looking at the justice system, but we need to look at what these soldiers have done for this country. And we need to be looking at what is our industry and our businesses and what are they doing to give back to those soldiers that give up so much. And so often we hear so much, oh, we're doing this for the veteran, we're doing that for the veteran, but we need to show it and not talk it. We need to start having businesses call in and say, to the news media, to the programs out there, and people, to the newspapers, and say, I just hired 5 new veterans this month that have come home from Iraq or Afghanistan. We need to understand that 34% of our veterans returning home right now are unemployed. That is the highest minority group in the nation that is unemployed. They're talking about the 8% across the board. I'm talking about a minority group, veterans, at 34% and higher. And we got more veterans coming home, and the military just said that they're going to cut back the Army and the Marine Corps, and they're sending 80,000 more troops home. What is that going to do to our unemployment rate?
Wow, something to think about. Victor, if veterans, members of the public want to get in touch with you, maybe donate to your cause, maybe see if there's some way they can help, volunteer. If veterans are watching that are having trouble negotiating the system and want help, how can they get in touch with you?
Well, there's several ways. One is you can just about go to any one of your organizations and ask about us. They'll tell you about us, give you a phone number. But our phone number is 541-905-7237. And you can call anytime, and somebody will answer the phone, and they will talk to you, and they'll set up a time for you to come and see us wherever we're at. If you are somewhere across the country, in another state, in another nation, we can do a lot of things for you over the phone, fax machines, email, and we can also get you in contact with people we know that are in those states doing the same thing we're doing. These are important, that you should not have to walk this walk alone.
Now, Victor, a lot of the problems, not all of them, but some of the issues can be dealt with just by cooperating, by communicating, by working together. It's not a situation where you just have to throw millions of dollars at it.
We don't have to throw millions of dollars, but what we have to do is we have to work together. But one thing I reiterate to every veteran that comes to us, I'm not going to do the job for you. I'm going to counsel with you, I'm going to guide you, I'm going to be an advocate for you, but you've got to do the work. If you as a veteran is not willing to do the work, then it can't be done. Because, as you know in the military, you couldn't go out in a war zone, hand somebody else your gun and says, go shoot them for me. You had to do it yourself. So you're the first line of defense for yourself. You have to pick up your backpack and carry it. So that's what we're here for. We're here to help you, but we're not going to carry it for you.
All righty. Victor Kuhns of Vets Helping Vets here in Albany, Oregon. More to come later. I'm Dave Adams, Operation Eagle's Wings, honoring all who serve and leaving no one behind.